Hey everybody, I am back in the Northeast after a week out in California that I'll talk about a little bit. It's closing in on Sunday evening. I still got to do a little work on lighting around here because these shots still come out a little grainy, but I don't care. Life is not about perfection. And so we'll chat a little bit about the week, random thoughts about life and trading and movie making and all that. So here we are. And I thought I would start with, two things really. If you can start with two things. One is the classic repost of the week that you can find now is one from August 2008. The story of grace that many of you who have been hanging with me over the past couple of decades will recall is about imperfection in life and one particular day and evening in the life of this person who was struggling and ended up ending the day buying what was it, about a 4-year-old BMW, something like that. And it was just, Louis Borsellino has talked about this as well when life doesn't go well, whether it's trading or something else. And sometimes you just got to go out and do something for yourself. And that was what I did, supported by my wife. And so I believe that one's in the book as well. If not, there's at least a synopsis or a reference to it. So anyway, have at it. Hope that brings back some memories. Hope that helps. It also gets me to kind of the second topic of the day. And, for those of you who have followed the blog, the book, the journey, it really, those of you who have figured it out, and there's a lot of hints in this whole thing. But those of you who have figured out, really, it's the last sentence of the book. And the last sentence of the book, of course, is this a book about trading or life? I'll let you decide. And that came to mind a lot this past week. I'm going to talk about the experience I had on the set. The Way of the Warrior Kid. And young man, those of you that are familiar with the books, best-selling books that Jocko Willink wrote for adolescents years ago that are being now turned into a movie. This kid was bullied. He found a good role model, a Navy SEAL, turns his life around, and that's all in the book. So I'm not giving anything away. Yet it too is about life. Yeah, there's Navy SEAL implications, military implications, other attributes of the people involved and all that in terms of what they did, what their livelihood was. But it's a story about life. And this book, the reason I did it, the main reason I did it was to, of course, share the lessons, the bloodied footprints, as I talked about, those that wanted to do something like this. Hey, here's the warning. Here's how I navigated. But regardless of how you navigate, if you choose to pursue this, just please be aware of what I did and don't do some of these things. And so to me, it was as much about that, and then taking the mechanism that the book is all about in terms of what is the premise about. Well, the premise about this particular book, Chronicles of a $1 Million Trader, is the financial markets, is trading. Yet that's really just the topic, the subtopic that was always intended to get at the larger topic, which was, it's a book about perseverance. It's a book about grace now, right? Talking about the classic post that we just discussed. And it's a story about love. It's a story about family support. It's about being brought to your knees. And yeah, I mean, it's about reaching a certain level of success. But it's transferable. It was always intended to be transferable. And it's been interesting as I've heard from many of you over the past several weeks since I've gone back online. And the stories that some of you have shared with me in fairly extensive emails, and I've read them all, and I've tried to respond where I could. But where you have taken some of those learnings, if you will, and you have applied them to other areas of life. Now some of you are still involved with the financial markets. Great. Those of you that are doing something else, either in addition to or in place of, you got it. You figured out the lessons, the lessons of the perseverance, the lessons of another classic post that I'm going to post very soon. I was debating today which one to go with, is the blue wall post, which there'll be some people you can never convince of what you're doing is right, or that you have the abilities that you feel you do. And the whole blue wall analogy is, you could look at a blue wall and somebody can tell you that blue wall is some other color as many times as they want to. You'll never believe them because the wall is blue. And I had some experiences in my financial public life of that, where people didn't believe things, even given the affidavits, given the records, given the author back testing, all the stuff. So all of this kind of wraps back around to the ability to believe in yourself, and to not let the naysayers, those that may not understand. And you get this a lot in the financial markets. People just don't understand. They haven't gone through the 10,000 hours. They don't care to. They don't have the diligence to. And again, that 10,000 hours can be related to the markets. It can be related to learning the piano. It can be related to being an entrepreneur in a business. And it just takes time. So I've often referred to folks in the cheap seats, and boy, since we've been off the grid here 5 years or so, wow, the world has just gotten so polarized. That ending sentence cannot be more apparent, more relevant as it is now. And whether it's the story of grace, the story of humility, I've often believed that if you are humble in nature, whether that's because it was forced upon you, or whether that's because how you were groomed, or that's just your personality, there's strength. There's strength in the humility. There's strength in sharing the mistakes. And those that go through life, in my humble opinion, right, basically say, hey, I'm the best, I know the best, it's all about me. These are the people that they may succeed for a while, but they will fail dramatically, and they will be humbled. And so, we're just in this world right now where it's like humility isn't viewed as strength. Attacking is viewed as strength, and lying is viewed as strength. And again, hey, I'm not here to take sides on any particular issue. That's not what this is ever about, and I'll never do that. Yet it does come back to that blue wall every now and then. The wall's blue, and so the book and the emails I'm getting. When was this published? I got to go back to the publishing date. Was it 2015 that it was published? I got to look this up, because this 2013. 2013. It's my own book, published in 2013, and here we are 11 years later. And the recent communication, the people who have contacted me, you've gotten it. You got the crux. You got the reason that I did that. And kudos to you, because if it helps you, great. But kudos for figuring that out. Whether it's trading or being a blacksmith or trying to be an athlete, or whatever you pursue in life, that particular goal or endeavor is not going to be well suited for everybody, and it may not be well suited for you, even though you want to do it. It sounds great, sounds like fun. I'd love to be a professional athlete. There's no way this body could ever do that, but I enjoy it. And so, and I've had starts and stops in my life where I've wanted to do things. I've tried, I've failed. And obviously in the case of the financial markets, was able to figure it out, but had a lot of, starts and not only stops, but halts in life. So, and then it's up to us individually, whatever we're pursuing, to determine whether it's worth, or whether it's the right thing to do to stay with it, or to go through those 10,000 hours. And world of the financial markets, try to maintain your capital and confidence while you're going through the growing pains, or whether it's time to apply that same perseverance, that same level of perseverance to something else. And that's one of the themes that I've picked up on as I've read some of the mail. And those of you that are still in the financial markets, great. The sustainability, the ability to evolve, the ability to be a freaking jellyfish, right? And that in it of itself is about humility. It always is about humility. And again, it's in the blog, it's in the book, in terms of why I settled on jellyfish. It's dropping the ego and going with whatever the market dynamics are. We talked a little bit recently about the flow of the markets, a little bit less volatile overall, but very choppy within tight time frames. And so great, wonderful. The ability to adapt to that and trade in that environment. I go back to successful sports teams, whether it was something that I'm familiar with, obviously the Patriots, that would always morph for a long time into whatever the opponent was doing. They would gear their game plan to that opponent. They would not gear their game plan to who they were. Who they were differed from game to game. And I could mention a lot of other successful teams that have done things like that. And so in today's markets, I believe that's as important as anything. You drop the ego, you drop the humility. And is that tough? Has it been tough for me over the years, especially as my profile got very, very public? Radio, TV, books, book tours, this sort of thing. I'm thrilled that there's just a few hundred people kind of doing this with me right now. It feels so great. I feel so blessed. I want to touch, though, before I close this, on the week I just had in California. So I talked about the Way of the Warrior Kid movie. I've mentioned this a few times. Movie coming out in production, fast-paced production. I think they're on a 44-day shoot, hopefully for a release next year. I can't share any pictures. I can't share any details. It was a closed set, but I was on it for a full day. And I had the time of my life. And a couple shout outs. First of all, Jocko Willink. I get there, Jocko right away hands me his headset, right? So you're able to watch these monitors as they're filming, and you get to watch the replays, and you hear all the directions. You have a headset too, right? You have all the directions that you're hearing from everybody. And you wear this little pack. Someday I'll share maybe a picture. I can't right now. But Jocko hands me his get up, his headset, and his little battery pack. And so I had that for most of the day. Ben Everard, a producer, one of the producers of the film, right away gives me his chair, lets me sit down, and it's like, nah, I can't do that. No, please. And we had a great conversation. It was also a day where my world collided with my daughter, because many of you may know my older daughter, Courtney, is in Los Angeles, and she's a talent manager. And so this is her world. This is her life. And so she was on the set with me, and Jocko's family was there. And it was just a great day, a great opportunity. And I want to thank everybody from Jocko to Ben to everybody on the set, the Apple team, the Skydance supporters. There's an interview room there that they're taping or recording. Can't say tape these days, right? They're recording interviews for use as the movie comes out and then beyond. This is going to be as big as Rocky, as big as The Karate Kid, as big as Top Gun. It's a mix of all this, and there's a great personal story behind it as well. And it gets back to the things that we just talked about, the perseverance. There's some stuff in this book, if you recall, about when I was young, and I was bullied, and it's in the book, right? And so, but using that experience to help shape you, finding a good mentor, right? And now I'm a granddad, and again, I went out to California to see my grandchild, and it just so happened that's 7 weeks old. Who's 7 weeks old? Cole. I'll share a picture with you. Just great time. Who just happens to live in LA, where they just happen to be filming the movie over the course of the week, and just happened to be a day available for Jocko and Chris Pratt and myself, where we could get together. So life has kind of come full circle, but the ability to mentor, somebody that's going to be a big theme of that movie, and certainly has been a big theme of my life. And I'm going to go back to the tab I have on all of the names that I talked about the other week, the people who have been influential in my life, And there's so many to name. I still feel like I'm doing a disservice by leaving some folks out. But, again, those of you that have figured this out, that's what it's about. And for me this week, some 11 years removed from the book, and even farther removed from that particular window in my life, reminds me that life is about windows, regardless of endeavor. It's about jumping through with both feet. It's about knowing when to pull back, when that window will close, and just adapting to whatever life brings your way without losing who you are. So, random thoughts for the week. I hope it helps. Please keep the emails coming. I'm enjoying this. I really am. It's been a long, long time. And like I've always said, I don't care if I'm talking to one person or I'm talking to thousands like I did back in the day. I'm having a lot of fun. Hopefully you can see the energy in my voice. And again, forgive me for being overly excited about the movie, but there's a lot of parallels, a lot of similarities to the things that we've been doing over the years. Just great, great, great people to be surrounded around. And, that's what I'm trying to do at this point in my life, as I work with them or alongside them, or sometimes like I did on Wednesday, just sit and watch and learn in awe. So, hey, have a great week. We'll catch you on the flip side. Bye.